welcome to the 13th season of Fragments of Silicon. Like, and yeah, our traditional start isn't like the first Wednesday show. It's our first review session, and you know, given we've had 2 weeks off, games have kind of been stockpiling. In fact, I had to reject more than a few games, just because we have like 4 games lined up for the next 4 weeks. So stuff was getting crowded. Anyway, yeah, so we got 4 games up this week. First of which is a game called Weapon Hacker. Um, Weapon Hacker is perhaps the apotheosis of indie gaming trends that are popular in this moment in time. At least 2 of them, because probably not the first game to marry these particular mechanics together, but none really stand out in my mind right now. But this is a combination of Metroidvania and roguelite. And if you've been watching our reviews for a while, you'll know that both these genres come up with quite the frequency. So, and yeah, this is a game that has decided to marry Metroidvania, specifically the Metroid side of the equation. You look at the graphics, you look at the layout, you look at the just general everything of this game, and it screams, yeah, this game was inspired by Metroid, specifically Super Metroid, which is, once again, not a great surprise. It's like, I'm pretty sure if Metroid had a nickel for every game that was influenced by it, it would have a lot of fucking nickels.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that separates this from the other Metroidvanias, well, a couple of things actually. First of which is the aforementioned roguelike. And to delineate, it's a roguelike. Not a roguelite. It does the permadeath and the random permutations thing. Random to a specific set. That is to say, having played a lot of games, I can tell that the individual rooms were pre-built. They're just put together randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And certain tile sets will be reflected in certain power-ups. Like, for example, if there are areas where it's too high to jump, guess which power-up you're going to be finding? The high jump. Either that or the air jump. This game has 2 jumps, a high jump and a double jump. But you get the point. It's like... and the other unique selling point is in the name, Weapon Hacker. So the idea here is you get a lot of weapon parts, and you can put them together in various fashions. And out of those weapon permutations will come a whole bunch of unique weapons. How well this plays out, well, that'll depend on how far you get. It's like you're not going to have a whole lot of randomization in like the first area, which is to be expected. It's like, once you get to the third area, you're going to be having a pretty, unique and robust build. And, there are many attachments. Like, there's the flamethrower, there's the electric gun, there's the plasma saw, and there are various extenders like rapid fire, longer range, bounciness, so on and so forth. And all of these are balanced out with a battery meter. Like each attachment will drain a certain amount of power, like either half a block or a full block. And you start out with 2 battery symbols, and you get more as you progress. And also you'll unlock up to 3 weapon slots. Those are the bits that allow you to attach the weapon bits, and various extenders to it. And it works out fine, although I think it's a bit oversold. Yeah. But it's like I thought I would have more to say about this, but I really don't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
now as far as the game itself, it plays really well. It's got the tight mechanics, and it plays really robustly. Um, it's just it being on the roguelike side of the equation, it has a level of difficulty that you might not be expecting for Metroidvanias. Like Metroidvanias typically aren't defined by their difficulty. Obviously, this is not all the cases. Like Hollow Knight is a really difficult Metroidvania game. But it's like by and large, they're more known for their exploration and backtracking and all that stuff rather than difficulty. So it's a bit of a twist there. Also,
So it looks like the aesthetic is going for sort of claymation-ish almost.
the aesthetic is the best I can describe is 90s PC pre-rendered sprites.
Most of which looked sort of claymation-ish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like even things like Donkey Kong Country still kind of looked like they were trying to look like they were made of clay.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's certainly
It's probably the specific shade of yellow and crinkliness of the playable character's hazmat suit.
Probably.
That's making it look especially clay-like to me.
Mm-hmm.
See, I couldn't tell you if it was made. I don't think it was made out of clay because clay has a very distinctive.
Oh yeah, I don't think it actually is claymation, but it looks like it's sort of evoking a look that's similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think unintentionally. Like I said, it's pre-rendered sprites. It's unusual because we don't see this in the modern day. Like not even on the indie scene. Usually it's retro aesthetics or modern day hand drawn. Not a lot of nailing 90s ACM. And how much you like it may depend on how versed you are in that particular era. It's like, I'll be honest, I never liked the plasticky look of ACM. But here it at the very least gives it a visual distinction. Like I can pick this game out of a crowd. And the game is built to be short. Although one thing I didn't like is the bosses, or rather, there only seems to be one boss per area. And like we've covered other roguelikes here on the show where they'll have like a few bosses for each area, so that portion doesn't get super repetitive.
I noticed an entering a facility and then like a 9-digit number. Is that like a seed that you can use to go into someone else's thing if they tell you what it is?
I don't think so. Like
it's pretty clearly a seed. I guess what I'm really asking is if there's a way to enter it.
No, it's a single player game entirely. And anyway,
to clarify, I'm not saying you'd be in someone else's game, just like in the same layout.
Maybe. It's all randomized, so.
Well, yeah, but a lot of randomized games do that. They have and especially randomizers always do that when they're like fan made because it's fun to do like the same randomized layout as someone else as a competition or something.
I think that's a question saved for the developer, who we might be having on the show this season.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just curious if you'd found a place to put it in or not.
No, I did not see anything of that sort. And maybe that's a thing that's coming down the line. Don't know. But anyway, let's see. And, and I think that's about it in terms of the gameplay and everything. Music was okay.
Yeah, I was about to say music was fine.
You know, once again, it's invoking Metroid. But like, if you've played a Metroid game, you'll be right at home here. Like, right down to little details, like holding a shoulder button in order to aim diagonally. Um, and you know,
But
map.
that goes back to like Super Metroid.
Yeah, I'm like, it's even got missile doors. It's just missiles here are a bit harder to come by because they don't give you missile packs in 5 usually. They do exist, but they're a lot rarer. Like missiles in general were a lot rarer in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't
But
remember seeing anything about a cap on them, like the amount you can get at once.
nor did I.
Okay. So missiles are. It's not like you have a capacity of missiles and then you could like
no
kill
no
things to fill them up. It's just like you find missiles and then you can use that number of missiles.
Yeah.
yes. Um, uh, and a bit of Kid Icarus here. It's got a store.
I thought you were going to say eggplant wizard.
I don't recall seeing any eggplant wizards, like or nearest equivalent. And
Well, the nearest equivalent is a tempura wizard.
yeah,
Now you're
Not
making me
kidding.
hungry.
That's the upgraded eggplant wizard in Uprising.
you might be the only one who's played that. Like, anyway, so the game pricing. The game clocks in at $14.99, which is a very reasonable price for this. Once again, it's working on the roguelike principle. It's like each individual playthrough is going to be pretty short. It says on the Steam page that it's about an hour. I'd say it's a couple hours if you're trying to get the whole way through. But yeah, it's like each time you come back, it's going to be different. So, you know, that's that's where the replay value is coming. Also, all of the weapon combinations. But yeah, it's like where I think it needs some more randomization spices in the bosses. Because it got very tiresome fighting the first boss over and over again. That never changed. So all in all, it's a very solid game. Not amazing, not spectacular. It's not the next Dead Cells or Hollow Knight, but it's a pretty solid effort that stands on its own. You just might be taken a bit aback by like the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not for everyone there. But all in all, it's a solid 7, I'd say, in terms of overall rateability. Right. So, any other questions, comments, or concerns here?
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. So yeah, that'll about do it for Weapon Hacker. Be sure to tune in after the break as we'll be reviewing Concept Destruction.